Comic fans, what's going on? It is Mike from the Hardcover Comic here. Today, I wanted to talk about a very exciting Kickstarter project that I supported with some of my hard-earned money. Cosmic Detective. This is the hardcover collection of the story by Matt Kindt, Jeff Lemire, and David Rubin. I'm very, very excited to talk about this book. I'm very, very excited to finally have this book. It was a long time in the making by these three incredible creators. Can't wait to tell you all about this book and why I'm looking forward to potentially supporting more Kickstarters in the future, or getting at least a little more aware of the Kickstarters that are out there in the comic book world. Let's dive into it. Let's get into it. A heavy hitter book in the house here. Matt Kindt, Jeff Lemire, David Rubin. Like I mentioned, this was a Kickstarter that I supported. I know a few other awesome YouTube comic folks did as well. I got the hardcover. I forget how much it was. I think it was like 40 or 50 US dollars, something like that. Nice looking, classy hardcover. Really nice design to it. I'm personally a big fan of Rubin's artwork. Maybe not for everything, but for some of these creator-owned titles, it's fantastic. His style is fun, exaggerated, perfect for something cosmic like this, something cosmically fantastical like this. Really nice design on the book. It is a relatively thin book. You got the gilded pages on it, nice ribbon bookmark as well. Matt Kindt likes to put together a nice hardcover, I can tell you that much. As a size comparison, we'll take a look at a few other books just to show you out there what size this book is. So here's a standard size hardcover, Department Age by Matt Kindt. So you can see this the Cosmic Detective book is definitely a lot larger than that. Sorry about that. Looking at a deluxe edition here, you can see it's, again, slightly bigger than that as well. So really nicely sized book, considering how thin it is too. It's really light, really easy to read. Not as large as something like a library edition or an absolute edition, at least not in terms of the length. You know, maybe if you took the extra width the book gives you, turn that into length, you'd probably get around similar dimensions. But pretty big book either way, considering it was a Kickstarter. Now, the story itself is not overly long. I forget the exact number of pages. It's not a very long story, but enjoyable nonetheless. You even get this nice little print with it. Came with the hardcover itself. So overall, though, I will say the production on this book is top quality. You can tell there's a lot of love and care that went into the book. Design at the very least, and the story as well. Really, I mean, this took a while for the gentleman to do. You could tell it was a labor of love, but really, I mean, my biggest complaint is just it felt really short. It felt really short. It's definitely a book I'll want to reread in the future. It's a detective story about essentially what happens when a godlike creature dies, when it gets murdered, and the investigation that follows. I really liked it. There's a lot of stuff in this book that leaves you with questions. A lot of world building that I think could potentially happen in the future, but at the same time, considering it's a detective book, I think the creators sort of wanted us as readers, as fans, to fill in the blanks in our own way. So kind of the whole point of comics anyway. You fill in your own blanks in between panels. There are a lot of mysterious characters in here, organizations, as you sort of follow our cosmic detective hero throughout this investigation. There really, I mean, in general, there are so many things happening in this book that are just complete mystery that you need to figure out sort of as you go along, and you continue reading the story. Of course, with creators like Matt Kindt and Jeff Lemire, you're going to get a lot of you're going to get a character that you care about, right? You're going to get a motivation to continue reading the story, to cheer for the protagonist of the story. And you definitely get that here. You get a little aspect of his life outside of work. Of course, a big chunk of his life at work, and sort of the history of this universe and the history of these godlike characters that exist within this universe. Really, really, really interesting. The artwork by David Rubin is spectacular. It's absolutely beautiful to look at, and imaginative, creative. The colors are spectacular. Seeing it all in this huge page format as well is absolutely mesmerizing. It's definitely a book where you'd want to spend some time looking at the pages. Even just flipping through it over and over again, just to relook at some of the incredible artwork by Rubin. So can't complain about the art at all. Again, it's a creator-owned title, so there's no sort of predisposition or predefined notions on what the artwork should look like or what my preference is on the artwork. In terms of the story, like I said, there's a lot of mystery involved. Although I think the story in general, it flows well. It makes sense. It's interesting. Before I even read the book, I had gotten, can't show that page, can't really show a couple of these pages here. But before I had read this book, I actually received, a few people reaching out asking me being excited to hear my thoughts on the ending of the book. And I gotta say, I don't want to say that I'm disappointed. I can't really say that I'm disappointed. But I will say that the ending of this title has been dwelling on my mind, honestly motivating me to reread it again. You do sort of get an ending that would lead you to believe that there would be a potential sequel to this or a future to this, while also sort of, wondering. I don't know. I'm very conflicted by the ending of this book because it's an interesting. I can't give it away. Obviously, it's an interesting ending. It's very unexpected, in my opinion, to have the kind of twist that you get at the end of this book, with the main character's motivations and actions near the tail end of this investigation. It's tough. It's tough not to give it away a little bit. So I won't. It's definitely an ending. The ending definitely made me want to reread the book. I can't necessarily say I'm thrilled with the ending, but I also can't say I'm that disappointed with the ending. It's just very unexpected. And you know what? If it was the kind of ending that happened in real life, if someone's journey into something ended that way in real life, I'd say I can't blame them. I can't blame them, which makes it a very interesting ending. It's not the kind of ending you necessarily expect from a protagonist in a comic book. But I enjoyed it for that reason. As you've been seeing, there's some really cool bonus features in here with a nice, awesome multi-page spread here showing the character designs on both sides. Really cool characters. Really imaginative universe. It's one that I was kind of hoping we'd see more of in the book. Again, my biggest complaint is that the book feels short. It feels really short. I feel like I read this in, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, an hour tops. Probably spent an hour going back through it, looking at the artwork, enjoying the details of the pages. But like I said, it's a book that I think I will reread. And it feels cool to be able to support a Kickstarter, know that these creators hopefully got the compensation for the work that they put into the title. Would I recommend picking it up if you can find it on eBay? I can't say that, in hindsight, considering you'd be paying someone else, I can't say I'd want to pay more than $30 for this book, just considering how short it is. But if you're a huge fan of these creators, I highly recommend it. I love Matt Kindt. I love Jeff Lemire. I really enjoy David Rubin. And honestly, knowing how much I'm going to see Matt Kindt probably in the future at Comic-Cons, I'll definitely ask him questions about this title. Did you pick this up? What did you think? Hit us up via email if you want to talk more about the ending. Maybe I'll do a spoiler full video at some point in the future, but that's it for today. I really want to thank you all for tuning in. Again, let us know down in the comments section below what you thought of the title. If it's a book you missed out on, would you want to pick it up? Looking at the artwork, looking at the flip through, let us know. Thank you all very much for tuning in. This is Mike from the Hardcover Comic. Until next time, as always, you stay classy, Internet.